Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ed 882 Dissertation Writing. I'm Dr. Margene Anderson. You can call me Margene. You can call me Dr. Anderson. You can call me Dr. Margene. Please choose whatever is most comfortable for you. So right now you're looking at this week's weekly review. And each week we will have a weekly review. This is a little atypical because in this weekly review, I will be reviewing a little bit of course information um, and expanding a little bit more on some of the things you might have read about in the syllabus. But typically during the weekly review, I'm going to give you a little encouragement. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight, and I will review your tasks for the week. So plan on that. For this week's weekly review, I'm going to cover four pieces of information. So first, I'm going to cover where you can find information about this course. Number two, I'm going to talk a little bit about how this course is organized and the weekly rhythm. Three, we're going to talk about how the online site is organized. And four, we're going to talk about what you can expect to do this week. So let's get started. First, I want to talk a little bit about course information. What you're going to notice is that I try to incorporate something called planned redundancy, which means the same kind of information is in various locations. And I do that so that you can find a space and a place and a way of accessing information that works best for you. So I would start with the syllabus. I sent you a copy in the welcome letter, and you can also find that same PDF in our course online site on the left-hand side of the course in the link called syllabus in the left-hand navigation. The welcome module, which you are currently working through, offers that similar type of information, but it's a little bit of a different organizational structure. So take a look at it. Feel free to skim the parts that you feel comfortable with, that you picked up from the syllabus. I go into a little more detail in certain areas, and I also include some resources that you have access to that will help with personal well-being as well as academic well-being that are offered through the college. If you have any questions, either with this video or what you're reading or at any time, feel free to post in the raise your hand forum discussion. You can also access that on the left-hand side in the navigation menu. It's called raise your hand. Many of the other courses you've had have the same discussion board. If you feel like it's pertinent for the whole class, that's a really helpful place to put it. Other people might answer it before I even get to it. If it's a individual question that's not pertinent to the entire class, feel free to email me at any time. So let's talk a little bit about course organization and our weekly rhythm. This course is designed for you to make substantial progress on chapters 1 and 3 of your dissertation, which is the introduction and methods chapter of your introduction. So that is how this course is designed. There are some formative assessments, and the summative assessments are your chapters at the end of drafts of your chapters, as well as a mock proposal. Here's what I'm going to acknowledge though. I know that some of you are further along in the process. You may have already received IRB approval. You may be conducting research and writing at the same time. That's something I had to do because of the research constraints. And some of you might have a really solid prospectus and are ready to get writing. And some of you might still be exploring your topic a little bit further, refining your research questions, trying to kind of get an angle on how you're going to approach these things. So writing a dissertation is not a race. It is a journey. It's a hard journey. But my goal is to meet you where you're at. So please communicate those needs with me, either through the surveys, through your writing, or just directly in person. So except for this welcome week, this class is organized into modules spanning 2 weeks. Dr. Banks, whom you'll either meet or have met in Ed 880, and I have tried to organize the course schedule to help pace you, and so you're not all inundated with work on the same week for both of our classes. So our class is going to start with this welcome module, and next week we'll start with the first 2-week module. And my plan is to open that module up on the weekend prior to the start of the module at 9 a.m. on Sundays at the latest, so that you can get started on that for the week. So for me, assignments are generally due on Saturdays at 11:59 p.m. If you get them on to me on Fridays or you get it to me on Sunday morning, I'm not checking my assignments at midnight on Saturday. Um, that's that's a good enough span. You take your time and get the stuff done that you need at the pace you need. Try to stay on track. I will not take off points for late work. Um, unless you get a little bit farther behind, then we're going to need to have a discussion. There will be some assignments, especially those drafts that are due on Mondays. Those are noted in the syllabus and in the weekly course schedule that you can access online as well. So you might want to take a look in the welcome module at something called the weekly rhythm. It's an example that I posted, and it's something you might consider creating for yourself, and it might keep you on track. You know, once you write something down, you're more likely to do it, whether you're training for a marathon or writing a dissertation. So creating a kind of a plan for the week is something, even if you don't stick to it, it helps you stay organized and stay accountable. So along with the weekly review, you can expect every week to also have some instructional materials included in the modules. Now, I am not going to inundate you with readings because you're going to do a lot of that in Dr. Banks' course. There are a few, they're lightweight, but mostly the instructionals will be what I call mini lectures, something that I want to keep under 15 minutes at a time. And it will give you a little insight into some concepts on dissertation writing, some demonstrations on some techniques that you might use, and just some theory behind writing. That's my intention with those. And then building on those and building from those will be activities for the most part, especially in the beginning each week. These are to help you reflect and to think, and they're used as tools. They are formative assessments. Well, I'm not even call them assessments. They are formative tools that will help you build up your writer's toolbox, which is the intent and something you want to do. So I look for those each week. You have 2 this week, hopefully that you'll have a little bit of fun doing. So I also want to note that this course is mostly asynchronous, although that you are going to schedule 2 face-to-face virtual, or if you're in the Madison area, I can do it in person, writing conferences with me. You'll also be practicing your proposal in real time at the end of this course, the time to be determined. And you'll also be sharing a draft of your introduction and your methods chapter with a writing partner, which is another great opportunity to connect. I am not going to tell you exactly how to connect. You and your writing partner can figure that out. Although I will assign writing partners, and that is noted in the syllabus when you will receive these. So finally, a little bit of a note on grading, which you'll see reiterated in the syllabus and the welcome module, which I go into a little bit more depth. My philosophy for grading for this course is that I do have to assign points, but I don't want you to get caught up on that. For formative assessments, I am not going to have a rubric with points. Again, these are tools, they're learning things for you. Lean into them as much as you'd like. If you need to pull back because it's a busy week, I get it, I understand. Use the tools, they're meant for you to continue to improve your writing. Again, your job is to make substantive progress, and that means producing quality writing that is commensurate with earning a doctorate degree. So to that end, I will be using some lightweight rubrics to help me organize and provide feedback on your 3 summative assessments, which are the draft of chapter 1, the draft of chapter 3, and then your mock proposal, which you'll learn more about later in the class. So the online course site, which is our 3rd thing we're going to talk about today, is that I'm hoping that it's really forward-facing and intuitive. I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time navigating or figuring out where things are or how to do certain tasks. So I am going to, you can expect that each week, each 2-week module will have a short introduction with your learning objectives, and then there'll be a folder for week 1 and week 2. And in those folders, I will have the weekly review, the instructional materials, the activities, and I'm going to put them in the order that I think that you should run through sequentially. That will be the most help to you. Now, if you do that or not, that's up to you. But that is my frame of thinking and why I'm putting those in that order. So hopefully you'll be able to just follow along through those modules without any trouble. You'll also note that we'll be using Sign Up Genius for office hours and later to schedule our writing conferences. In each week's module folder, I'll post a link for office hours for Sign It Genius, that are the times that I'm generally available that week. If those times don't work for you, you can email me and we can find another time if you need to connect. Okay, our last topic for today is coming up this week, and we have 4 learning goals for this week. You've seen them posted online in the welcome module, but just to review them, your learning objective outcomes for this week are to describe your research topic, reflect on this class's philosophy, procedures, and processes, and ask any questions that you need to, and then reflect on your identity as an author, including your strengths and the areas you have identified as growth areas. And then finally, you should be able to, you don't need to describe them, there's no assessment, but you should be able to describe Edgewood's resources to support your academic and personal well-being. That's just for your information, but it is an outcome I have for you this week. So going forward, review the rest of the welcome module and post any discussion questions you might have in either the raise your hand discussion board or in an email to me. And then you have 3 activities I want you to complete. The first is to post a voice thread introducing yourself, explaining your dissertation topic, your research question and or questions, and why you think your research is important. Now, I'm going to ask you to try to limit this to 2 minutes, keeping it short and concise, not because I don't want to hear from you, but because being short and concise is a super valuable skill in academic writing and presenting. And the more you can refine the way you're talking about your topic, the clearer it will be, and it will be in your head, which will help you continue to organize some really tight spots that are just inherent in writing a dissertation. And the second thing I want you to do is write a short reflection, and that could be whatever format you feel fits your way you want to talk about it. But I want you to reflect on how you view yourself as a writer and how you feel about developing an authorial identity as a scholar. And I will be the first to tell you that I felt a bit intimidated, even though I do this stuff all the time and I write all the time. It was different to be putting my thoughts into the world for anyone to see. Anyway, take a look at my example, take from it what you like, and then I want you to create a reflection in a format that suits you. And I've got some examples of that in the assignment on Blackboard. And third, if you haven't done so already, please fill out the pre-class survey. It's going to help me get to know you a little better and understand where you are in your process. There should have been a link in your welcome email. If you lost track of that, there's also a link at the end of this module. Totally understand losing track of emails. So finally, I cannot tell you how excited I am to be working with you and learning from you. This is Edgewood's inaugural version of Ed 882, where it's really focused on getting you ready for your proposal and giving you a solid step in your dissertation process. I'm really proud to be a part of that, and I hope that we have a pleasant time working together. And with that, I'm going to sign off. You can get to work on your assignments whenever you're ready, and I will chat with you next week. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. All right, bye everyone.